In this video I'm going to tell you why I think that the Meris LVX and MercuryX are both fantastic pedals to use live. Now, I've released a lot of videos on the LVX and MercuryX here on YouTube. I've dropped some links to those at the end of this video if you want to see more. And lots of viewers have commented on how they feel that the LVX and the MercuryX, or either or, are just not suitable for playing live. And I guess this video is my response to that opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course, but I passionately believe these two pedals are brilliant tools for playing live. I'm going to talk you through the three main reasons why I think that is. First one I want to get out there, which is something that I struggle to understand really, is that a lot of people comment on how the screen is too small. Now, you can see the size of the LVX and the MercuryX, the screen sizes are the same. I'm just going to throw another pedal into the mix here. Very, very dusty Big Sky. It's a sort of thinner one strip as opposed to a big screen and slightly wider, slightly longer. Never really heard many people talk about the Big Sky screen display LED being too small. Personally, maybe they have, but I've never heard people talk about that. My opinion on the screen element of these pedals is that when I go into a live situation, or when anyone goes into a live situation, you're most likely going to go in having your sounds saved as presets. You're not likely going to be spending masses of time in a live situation in changing the parameters of your settings. Now, if you want to do that, you can, and that'll be my second point in a minute, which I will come to. As far as I'm concerned, in terms of a pedal of this sort of format and size, screen's not particularly small. In fact, when you look on the market, it's pretty much in line with most other pedals out there, and I'm sure there'll be someone watching this right now that's screaming in the comments, well, what about this pedal? Not the biggest, no. But it's not a small screen. It has got some small writing in the bottom left and right hand corners, which I'll come on to on the second point. In terms of the name of your preset, in terms of the number of the 100 presets that you're in, they're pretty big. And yeah, okay, this is about 2 foot in front of me. If I was stood above it, 6 foot, just under 6'2" myself, I can still see the number. I can still see the name. No smaller than on the Big Sky. In fact, the name and number are bigger than on the Big Sky, as someone who's owned the Big Sky for 10 years myself and played with it live many, many times. So let's go on to the second reason why I think these pedals are fantastic to use live. Let's say that I did want to amend and change some of the settings whilst I was playing, then great news. The small writing, and it is small, especially if you're stood up, it is small. The small writing that you can see in the bottom left and right hand corner of the screens of both the LVX and the MercuryX are customizable. So you can choose which parameters you're amending, and totally adjustable on the fly in the moment when you're playing live. Let me give you an example. So in the MercuryX, I've saved a hall setting. Let's go to my hall setting, and this is, there we go, 91, the hall setting, so number one there. Let's say, for example, that you wanted the ability for this setting to have a shimmer or high pitch on there, then we've got that. Let's say in the middle of a song I wanted to take away the pitched element of it. Well, I've assigned the pitch to this dial here. What that means is that during the middle of the song, let's say I wanted that to be 100% wet, so the pitch was 100% of the mix, I can just adjust it. And you're hearing a hell of a lot of it. But let's say I wanted the opposite of that. Actually, I wanted just a whole tone with no pitch shift in there whatsoever, or higher octave in there whatsoever, then I just turn it all the way to 0. Now, the really great thing is that you can customize whatever. So at the minute, I've got the bass element of the reverb here and the pitch here. But if I wanted to change that, I could. So I could just click and hold this button here, make my way down, and this is again is how you change the name and the number of the preset. And now I've moved down to the left hand bottom here, and I don't want that to be bass anymore, I want that to be structure. So let's just say I want it to be structure, which in Meris terms is the type of reverb. I'm just going to save that, and now that's saved, I can go to the previous preset, back to that preset, and the bottom left dial here now is controlling structure, because that's what I've changed it to and saved it. So I could have my hall setting, which is the one I want to start with. But I could adjust that mid-song, keep everything else the same, and move to a plate reverb. Brighter. go to a room reverb. Cathedral. I'm not going to go through all of the reverbs, and you can do that on the MercuryX and the LVX for any of the presets and adjust what these two control in the moment on the fly. Again, any of the sounds or modifiers that sit within the pedals. So let's say I'm going to go and play the gig right now. I know that I want to use this hall setting, and I know in the first song I want to move from a hall sound with all of the same parameters, but I want to change that to a room sound. Then I just need to flip this because I've set it up already and I'm practiced and rehearsed and ready to go. And that to me is pretty simple and gives me more flexibility in the moment that I can pre-organise before I go to the gig. And again, anyone using these pedals in a live scenario will have this set up and ready to go before they go to a gig, knowing what parameters they want to change and being able to do so quickly because they've assigned them to these parameters here. So for me, the screen isn't too small. Yes, the writing is small for these parameters here, but if you've practiced, rehearsed, and got that set up before you go out into the live environment, you know exactly what they are, and you can instantly bend down and change those. And again, it's something I have done myself and works brilliantly. The third reason that I think these pedals are really usable live is being able to change between the presets. You know, a lot of people out there refer back to the Strymon pedals quite rightly. As you know, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, massive fan of Strymon as a company, massive fan of the fantastic sounds you get out of their pedals. And the Timeline and the Big Sky were sitting on this board for best part of 9-10 years as my main source of delay and reverb. Very similar in terms of what you do. So you'll notice that the Big Sky has the 3 toggles, and on the LVX we've got more. We've got 3+1, same format. Won't go into all of what these do here, but clearly we've got a tap tempo there on the delay. But you've got your 3 switches here, and it's exactly the same as using, say, the Big Sky, for example. So we're on 91, we're on 92, we're on 93. 91, 92, 93. If I want to move along, I bank. So I want to move to the right, so I want to go to 94, 95, 96. I double click that, and I click it again, and we're there. 94, 95, 96. When I go left, double click, and so on and so forth. And look, if that double clicking feels like too onerous a task, then my first thing would be, would you have more than 3 types of delay or 3 types of reverb in any one song? I wouldn't, and I don't think many people would, because the reality is if I was going to play a gig tomorrow, then I would have my sounds for at least a song in a row. And by that I mean, let's say we're about to start song 1. If I've got 3 delays, then I'm going to probably put them in 91, 92, 93, and they're going to be for that song. In fact, I'd probably name the presets song 1. And then if I had different delays for song 2, I'd just in between songs, bank, and then I'm on song 2. And you can do the same for the MercuryX. And of course you can just bend down and use this dial here to quickly flick between settings too if you wanted to do so. So up there my opinions on using the LVX and MercuryX in a live scenario. I think it works. I think you just need to understand the pedals and then get organised before the gigs. And then you've got 2 fantastic, brilliant pieces of gear on your board that are going to cover pretty much all your delay and reverb bases, plus others if you want them to. As always, leave your comments down in the section below. What do you think about my opinion? And again, it is just my opinion. I'm really interested in your opinion. And what other considerations are there for you when thinking about using these 2 pedals live? I do post here every Monday and Wednesday and have done for the last 12 months. I'm also over on Instagram as Nick Rees YT for YouTube, and I'll pop that on the screen here. If you're interested in watching any other videos on the Meris wonders, the LVX and the MercuryX, then there's a playlist here that I've put over 15 videos on so far. This will be the 16th, and I'd love for you to check them out and continue here on YouTube with me on my journey. Thanks for watching.